Hey traders, Chris Buss here with your midday market pulse update for Tuesday, May 4th. Okay, it's 12:30 as I'm starting the video. Let's see where we're at. SPY 2-hour got the impulsive breakdown, taking out this uptrend line, putting us well back into this trading range between 418 and 410.50. Currently, we've got a little bounce going on, but I expect this to price to find its way to the bottom of the box here at 1050 or 410.50 right here. Now, the next big sell signal would come on a break of 410, 4100 on ES if you're following that. So, anyhow, let's look at the 30-minute. Here we've got the gap down, the break of this 416.75 level that we have been watching. Very interesting, right on the open. Notice the wick reach back up to tag this 416.75 area. I mean, that's your perfect entry. Otherwise, anywhere along the way would have been fine. We came down here to this 411.50 area that we had marked, got a nice tag and a bounce, and now I've laid on the fibs, but I don't think we're gonna reach it. I think we're gonna come back down. In fact, these are live candles, so it's starting to move down from here. So what I'm expecting is, although we could get a bounce up into here, which would be, a prime shorting area against the 38% fib zone, come down here to 411.50 and then break that and then come down to 410.50, which would be the real test at the bottom of this big trading range right here. And then, of course, looking farther ahead, this was an $8 trading range from 410 to 418. If this were to break, then your measured move target is $8. So that would bring it down to 402, where I think you just go ahead and fill this gap to 400 right here. And then we have the, remember, this 200 EMA on the 2-hour is equal to the 50 EMA on the daily. So that would be a logical place for bulls to step in big time at the 50. It's worked in the past. I would expect them to do that again, but that's way down the road. First, we got to have a test of this 410.50 and then see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a decent bounce out of that level. Let's jump on to the Qs where most of the pressure has been. We're definitely on a sell signal here. We got the gap down, filled this gap, came on down. Now we're testing this gap from 327 to 324.57. We took a peek inside early in the day and have put in a little baby bounce, not much of anything at all. I think you're going to get a gap fill here down to 324.57, and then possibly this, remember this 324 was a big level from back here where it was resistance. That should be really good support right there at 324. And not coincidentally, remember we talked about this possibility of being a double top with a 2.5% measured move. Well, a gap fill down here to 324.57 would fulfill that technical target from this double top. Here it is on the 30-minute blow up, gap down, not really much of a hesitation at all at 330, down here to 326.50, a look inside the gap and a bounce, and now it looks like we're heading back down to test that gap again at 327. IWM holding up a little bit better than the other ones, down 1.6% at this point. Gap down, bounce back into 223. I think that's your pivot for today in the afternoon. If you get a break above 223, I think you can buy that with a stop just below. Otherwise, I think we're coming down in here to let's look at it on the 30-minute. Here's that bounce into 223. That if you took that out, then you could take it long. But otherwise, I think we're going to come down here to test the lows again, down towards 221. And you can see we've got some support here at 220.50. If that were to break 220.50, then 219 and then 215 would be a big move down at that point. Facebook held the line here at, what is that, 313.50, something like that, at these prior highs. If you get a break below that, then I think the gap will go ahead and fill. Any of you that got short on that gap entry are looking good at this point. You got a nice move down. So right here for the afternoon, just key off of the prior lows. And if you take those out, then I think you're going to get a follow-up move down towards 307.50. Apple, we talked about this trading range. It broke and got a big move down to this 127 level that we said was so important. We got the gap fill here. 327 should be support. If it breaks, then 125 and then possibly 122.50. I doubt that's going to happen today, but we didn't expect this rug pull in the pre-market either. So be ready for anything. Trade level to level. Keep your head about you. Stocks can go lower than we expect. So if this 127 breaks, I think the move down to 125 would be rather quick. Tesla lost this 670 pivot. So now I think you can stay short against 670, looking for a move down towards 625 unless 670 can be recovered. Microsoft really weak. I'm sure that, I don't know if that divorce news has anything to do with it. I doubt it. Down 2.29%. We talked about 249 this morning as being a pivot level. And you can see we broke that and now we're down into 246s. There's not a lot here for support, so I think it can come to 244 over here. And then the next big level down is 241. You see this volume over price bar here where there was some trading. So I think unless it can recover 247, I think we're going to 244 and then possibly 241. That would be your T2 for this afternoon. Amazon, free 50 club, the break of 33.50, got a fast move down to 3,300. We've gone ahead and filled this little baby gap from way back when. Anything below 32.75, I think we come right on down to 32.50. I mean, it's been straight down since 35.50, and until this thing proves it can bounce at some point, I think you gotta, if you've been short, stay short and look for something down here around 32.50. Google, terrible. If you had gotten short on this gap entry yesterday, that was your your technical entry there on a break below 23.53, then you got the big gap down this morning, and it's just gone right on through the gap, filled the gap down here below 22.75. I think that's your level here this afternoon. It's got to recover 22.75, or I think it finds this 22.40 down here at the bottom of this big trading range right here. And then that will be a very important level going forward, having had all this here as support. If 22.40 were to break, then you're into a sizable air pocket down in this area here where 2200 would be a target, and then these gaps below. But that's way down the road. I think for this afternoon, key off of 22.75 right here, stay short against it, and look for 22.40. Netflix. I zoomed out to the daily chart because it's really important here to take a look at where we're at. This 495 level was important support here, 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 and now here. That's got to hold, or else here comes 470 really quickly down at the bottom of the box. So if you're not in Netflix, key off of these lows back here at 495. If it breaks 495, you can take a short and look for 470. That would be, a nice risk reward type of trade with a stop just above. We're testing that level right now, depending on how afternoon trade goes. If more selling pressure comes in, that just may break. If not, hold the line right here at 495. SMH, that has been such a nice trade for us. Let me refresh the chart here, see where we're at. So getting short up here, even shorting yesterday on the break of this 42.50. And then we got the gap down, big follow through, back into 233. I think this goes lower. I would stay short, look for a break of the lows, and then a move down towards 230 in the either this afternoon or the days ahead. The only thing that would change my mind is a recapture of this 235.50. Then just tactically, I'd probably cover my short and see if there could be a bounce there. But as long as it stays below and you're already short, I would stay short. If you're not in it, I would wait for either a break of the low at 233 or a kickback up to 235.50 and then hit it there. And, I think it's heading lower. Skyworks, another great trade. We had our bracket up here, broke yesterday. We said stay short here. More follow through. I think it finds this prior low down to 187, and I think that's your next technical target right here at 187 at this prior low. Cirrus is one that is still in the bracket. Amazing to me that it's green when semis are blood red, but that's just the way it goes. Keep your alarms in place at 75 and 71 and be ready if it triggers. Peloton, another good trade. We're getting follow through below all the moving averages, below key support in a air pocket here. I think it's going down to 85. If you're not in it and you see a little kickback, I would take it short with a stop just above and look for lower prices here down towards between 80 and 85 with this large volume over price bar. Pinterest, another good one. Getting short yesterday on the break, staying short. Now we're below the 200. Now what you can do here is use the 200 as your pivot point. So if it recaptures the 200 at 61.32, you can decide to cover your short there and just, use that as your pivot point. But otherwise, I'd stay short because not a lot of support down here below the 200. I think it's going lower. And Twitter also triggered yesterday. Now we're below the 200. Same thing. I would use 55 as your pivot. Stay short against 55 with a stop just above 55. Stay short. You're below the 200, and I think this goes lower, at least in here to the 50.49 area as a first target. Okay, that's just a quick update for you guys. Things are moving fast. Trade level to level. Keep your wits about you. Ratchet your stops down if you want to protect your win, on any kind of bounce going up. Lay your fibs on those moves, and those are the areas where if you cover short, then you can reinitiate that short once you get that Fibonacci bounce into the 38% to 50% area, especially if that coincides with lateral resistance. That would be a nice place to try to lay some shorts back out. So just remember the big picture. We're on definite sell signals on QQQ and SPY. The next big sell signal on SPY comes on a break of 410.50, and on the Qs I'm still looking for a gap fill down to that what was it, down to this 324.57, and I think at that point you're going to come down here to 324 and test that big level, and then that would be where, if 324 were to break, that's going to bring in a lot more sellers, and you're going to get this gap fill down here into the 319s. So those are the levels that I'm looking at. I hope you're doing well. I hope the pre-market prep helped you in the this morning to get your head on and get your levels identified. That's the whole idea of pre-market prep, is having all those levels close at hand where you know where to react. So I hope that helped you. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button and the alarm bell. More good information, actionable information heading your way. Jump over in the show notes and you'll find a link to register for all my content, where you'll get messages like these sent to you during the day on things that I'm seeing in the market. Hopefully that will help you execute around the levels and have more objective trade locations to put on some high risk reward trades. Thanks for listening. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Have a good afternoon of trading. Talk to you next time.